was recently given this Skyfall teaser poster by a friend. I think it's a pretty nice poster, actually. I put it in a frame and everything. Although, I have this thing where I can't allow myself to hang up a movie poster unless I really like the movie itself. So it's just been kind of leaning against the wall for now. So the Skyfall trailer. It's what all us Bond fans have been talking about. It seems like this trailer followed pretty closely from that teaser that they released like in late May, and then we got the longer trailer in late July. I figured they would have spaced these two out a bit more. By the way, I thought Craig showing up in that short film with the Queen for the Olympics, I thought that was terrific. I can't believe she went along with that idea. That was pretty funny. I went to see Dark Knight Rises in IMAX. I don't want to talk about that. And there was a slightly different trailer for Skyfall before it. So I think there's 3 versions of this trailer now. The US one, the international, and the IMAX. They're basically all the same with some slightly different shots and dialogue. One line I really liked in the IMAX one was Q telling Bond, "I can do more on my laptop sitting in my pajamas than you can accomplish in a year. But sometimes a trigger needs to be pulled." Pretty cool. I'm somewhat apprehensive about dissecting trailers. It's just 2 minutes out of a 2-hour movie, so trying to judge if the film would be any good based on it is almost impossible. The worst films can have really great trailers, and vice versa. We're all savvy enough to know they're going to try their best at making a movie look good, and its job is to get us excited to see it when it finally comes out. But I've been asked about my reaction to this trailer a lot, so I figure, okay, why not? Besides, I've already been scrutinizing it in my head, so who am I kidding? The first thing that really impressed me is the striking images. Visually, the film looks stunning. The cinematographer, Roger Deakins, looks like he's really going to be earning his paycheck here. One thing I was thinking about was how in the older Bond films they would have all these ultra cool sets. All those Ken Adams sets that, as soon as they came up on screen, would pack an immediate punch. But for a long time now, it seems that aspect has kind of disappeared from the films. Once the film started to try to add more reality, those fantastical sets vanished. Yeah, the films all still look good, and there are still impressive sets. Like here, I like the cavernous underground offices. But the sets haven't come close to reaching the heights of greatness that the best in the series had to offer. Those old unique sets would help give the films that epic and extravagant quality. The stories would be taking place in these heightened mythic worlds. So that element has gotten less stylish and memorable for me. Not that I'm asking the films to try to do more ice palaces. Here in Skyfall, it looks like the film will be compensating for that lack of those groovy sets with trying to make every shot and image as beautiful as possible. From the looks of things, Skyfall could potentially be one of the most gorgeous Bond films ever. Already some of these shots shown leave a real impact. Ever since Judi Dench came on board as M, the character has gotten more and more screen time and has become a bigger presence in the stories. As we've been told by the plot synopsis, Bond's loyalty to M is tested as her past comes back to haunt her. So obviously she's going to be in this a lot. So we have all agent identities revealed, and they're posted on YouTube. I would add that to my James Bond playlist. There's a pretty impressive attack on MI6. Agents are killed. I actually counted the coffins, thinking maybe they would be the same number as the actors who played Bond, but it looks like it's too many. That's something that's been a real worry of mine, this Bond's 50th anniversary. Will the filmmakers again feel compelled to constantly remind us of it, like they did with Die Another Day for the 40th, and just make the entire film a reference fest? We don't need that again. Just make a good Bond film. The only memory I have of Bond's 40th anniversary is it marking the release of one of the worst films in the series. I don't want another crap fest. I'm expecting this to be Dench's swan song. Based on her medical problems now, I suspect the film will conclude with her relinquishing her job to Ralph Fiennes, who will take over the role of M, which I'm fine with. I think Fiennes would be good in the part. That is, if she leaves and he gets the job. Since Timothy Dalton's Bond, the films have focused more on the psychology of the Bond character, be it either well done or not. Here, literally, from the teaser, we saw Bond be given a psych exam, and it's clear he's got issues regarding Skyfall, whatever that might mean. So I imagine Bond will be carrying around some heavy baggage throughout the film. Now, Bond will be killed. We could take this as sort of a homage to the older films, where 007 would be killed or allusions would be made to his death in all those early pre-credit sequences. Will Craig's Bond getting shot be how Skyfall opens? My guess would be, since all these MI6 agents are revealed, they stage Bond's death in Turkey. He lies low for a while and comes back so he can investigate freely. Him falling off the train is another really cool shot. It seems like he spends his hiatus in some kind of, like Asian bar, drinking and playing with scorpions. It kind of looks a little Rambo-ish to me. I guess it's this time away that he grows that stubble on his face. The big rumor has been that Naomi Harris's Eve is the new Miss Moneypenny. I haven't heard anything confirmed about that, although some of the recent things I've read makes it seem likely. But I have no idea. Whether she is or not, she's clearly going to be doing some action. It appears Bond and her look like they'll get it on, although we just see her give him an erotic shave. No telling if that leads them in between the sheets. Bond will definitely be getting it on with Bernice Marlahoe's Severin. Since she was first announced, I had her pegged as the sacrificial lamb in the film. If I'm right, she's the villain's gal, she helps Bond, has shower sex with him. It would seem the next step would be her being killed by the villain for her betrayal. For some reason, I just see her as like Andrea from Golden Gun. So if I'm right, and she doesn't last till the closing credits, who will be the surviving Bond girl that Bond makes out with when the film fades out? Say Harris is indeed Miss Moneypenny. I never really considered her as a Bond girl, so he can't really be making out with her in the end. If she is Miss Moneypenny, he shags her during the film. By the end, she either has to be hurt or she requests a transfer from fieldwork to end up doing the secretary role. Unless they're not gonna have Moneypenny ultimately be a secretary at all, sitting around filing cabinets and stuff, and she'd be more of an agent in the field who pops up every now and then during missions, and they'll just completely revamp her character. So what's Bond gonna do? Like, will Skyfall end with him flying solo? In Quantum of Solace, all Craig did was get it on with Fields. She was killed and that was it. He never did anything with Camille. But in that film, he was still dealing with his feelings for Vespa, so it seemed appropriate that he wasn't making out with the chick in the end. This could just end with Craig and Dench saying farewell to each other. There's other chicks listed in the film, so maybe he can get one of them. I'm going off just theorizing here. I try not to read many rumors or leaks or even the fan speculation. I haven't even been watching the little production blogs that the producers have been dishing out. Okay, so Q. Since Casino Royale, fans have been wondering if they would ever get to see the character again. Here, they certainly look to be having a different take on the character. I certainly like the looks of it much more than John Cleese Q. He wasn't much of a unique character. I mean, it was just John Cleese as Q. I'd rather watch him in Fawlty Towers. Here, Ben Whishaw's Q seems to have a certain arrogance to him, and based on the short snippet we get between him and Bond, it could make for a nice updating of their relationship. Bond is skeptical of this kid, and Q doesn't think too highly of 007. It would be somewhat keeping with the traditional Q Bond meetings where Desmond Llewellyn would be dismissive of Bond. Now they added more of an ego on the character. The palm print gun is like the one we saw in License to Kill. It's not too outlandish, and I like Q's line of it not being a random killing machine, but more of a personal statement. Should we place bets on whether Bond drops it, and a bad guy picks it up, tries to shoot Bond with it, and Bond using that moment to jump the guy? What are the odds that that's going to happen? Wishaw and Craig already worked in 2 movies together, so I'm wondering if Craig had some input with his casting. I'm sure there will be fans who won't like the new takes they're going to do with Q and Moneypenny, but from the looks of things, these interpretations will fit in with Craig's version of Bond. Wishaw might as well write up his prepared answers for interviews now. I'm predicting every interview we see with him, he's going to be asked about Desmond Llewellyn's Q. How did you approach taking on such a famous role? Were you scared? Were you a fan of Q? What's it like being Q? It's going to be never ending. Javier Bardem. He looks weird. When he was announced, I kind of just assumed he would look kind of normal. Just his dark hair and that's it. I'm not sure what's going on with him here. The blonde hair, the Dr. No Asian eyes, it just looks strange. They're really playing him up as a major bad guy. The one shot makes him look like Hannibal Lecter sitting in a cell. But he just looks odd to me. Like it's too much. Maybe I'll get used to it, but I don't know, it kind of worries me. When Sam Mendes was announced as director, people were asking, well, does that mean there's going to be action in this movie? I never understood this concern. It just seemed silly. If they're going to make a James Bond movie, then yes, there's going to be action. Just because the guy is not known for action films doesn't mean he's going to have 007 laying in beds of roses. From the clips, the action does look like it will be pretty impressive. Of course, we're just seeing selected seconds out of the sequences, but it looks like we'll have some pretty good stuff. There's going to be a fight on a train, with a crane tearing it apart, some shootouts, a motorcycle chase, a subway train crashing, Daniel Craig doing a lot of running. That's his thing, you know? Like how Pierce Brosnan used to fire machine guns all the time. Daniel Craig, he just runs. They might as well just give him a pair of running shoes with his tuxedo. By the way, I really like the fixing the cuffs moment like Craig does there. I just hope we're able to follow the action this time around. We're able to get our bearings and enjoy the stunts, and they're actually exciting sequences that unfold, that have momentum, and build to exciting conclusions, rather than just a bunch of jumbled images that were edited with a blender. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, overall, I think it looks pretty promising. After 4 years waiting for a new Bond film, it should be good. At this point, we were starting to rival the 6-year wait we had to endure between License and GoldenEye. They've had enough time to think up a pretty decent film by now. Fortunately, I read they're already planning Bond 24, which they're eyeballing for release in the fall of 2014. It would be nice if they could get back to that streak of the actors' third Bond films being a great one. Connery, Goldfinger, Moore, The Spy Who Loved Me, and then Brosnan broke that little streak. I'm sure all you Bond fans have your own thoughts you want to pipe in with, but just basing what I've seen in the trailer, I think it will be a pretty satisfying flick. Like, I'm pretty psyched to see it. I really hope it's good. I would love to be able to hang that poster on my wall.